just tell you a little bit about animal psych aromatica, which I know is a very long word. And what does it? Why did I call the system that? Because it's about animals as a thing, but also the anima, the spirit, the soul. Psyche, as in the mind and the spirit. Again, this is the psyche. We work first of all with the mental emotional side of the animal, because this is where you enter in to create health in the body. And this, so that's animal psych aromatica, because using aromatic plants, essential oils, herbs, hydrosols, all of that family of aromatics is our entry point, is how one of our main tools, how we are intervening with an animal and helping to rebalance it and bring it back into a healthy state of being, body, mind, and soul. We use zoopharmacognosy, self-selection. Everything we do, in fact, is about giving the animal choice. We give them choices about the medicines they need, about how they want to be interacted with, and totally respect the individual. And that is one of the most important things of APA, Animal Psych Aromatica. Because, and why is it so important? Because reducing stress. Let me back up a second. When I first started practicing using the essential oils and the aromatics and working with animals in this way, with the self-selection, I realized that I was having really good results, but there was a certain percentage of animals that I could not get beyond a certain point. I couldn't, they needed ongoing support. And I realized that this was because of the levels of stress in the animal's life. And I don't mean stress, but I mean stress is like not having the right diet, not having a species appropriate diet, not having freedom of movement, let's say, being totally controlled all the time, living in a way that is not suitable for their physical and mental well-being. Every species evolved to have certain needs, and when we don't supply those needs, they are stressed. So that is really the basis of animal psych aromatica. We have to look at all of the things in an animal's environment which are causing stress and see how we can alleviate them. And returning choice to an animal is one of the easiest ways to relieve stress. And offering aromatics to an animal is one of the easiest ways to provide choice. It's kind of, I always call it the entryway drug, because it allows us, when we start to offer the essential oils and see how they can interact and choose the oils, we as humans understand the intelligence and the communicative abilities of the animals we live in. And we start going from being people who just do things to their animals with the best possible intentions because we want to keep them healthy and happy, but we know best, to people who are doing things with their animals with a sense of who that individual is and what they need. And this for me is the uniqueness and the power of animal psych aromatica. Okay. Naomi, is there something else I should add in there?
I think working with oils, adding to all you said, is one of the strongest means to do, I think, one of the biggest shifts in an emotional level and in a communication level. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going straight into the system. There is no there's no mediation there. It's just Smell is so powerful, and it goes straight to the brain, and it relaxes. Essential oils have a lot of actions that help to relax. They start to reduce pain, anything, all of these things which are stresses for an animal. So that it's a very, very direct way of interacting, and that helps us to learn a lot about that animal as
Mm.
well.
Yeah.
Um, and the whole process. Okay, so there's basically four foundations of animal psycharomatica. Let me do this in a slightly more organized manner. The four main things it stands on are reducing stress and offering choice, starting with the aromatics, understanding understanding the individual on a physical, physiological, mental, emotional, spiritual level. And this is where TCM, this is its superpower, really, for me, beyond the interventions that we then give with the herbs or the acupoints, is TCM has a really holistic way of looking at an animal and understanding what they need. Right, Naomi?
Yep. I see the TCM 5 elements as a very deep understanding of nature. It's understanding nature and where we and the animals connect to this nature.
Yeah, yeah. And the 5 elements, again, that's the strongest part of the TCM part that we use, because it is a pattern of nature, and it very much recognizes the emotional effect on illness, on what creates symptoms, is generally speaking something emotional. And also it has this 5 element character patterns where you can really understand and see, like, it's patterns. Nature is patterns, right? Nature's got repeating patterns all the time. And in the 5 elements, you have the element types, and each element type has specific needs about how they want to be trained, how they want to be interacted with. Do they want to be touched or left alone? What they want to eat, the sort of exercise they need. It's like it goes through the whole thing of creating an environment for the individual that suits that individual, which is such a powerful thing. It's really a powerful way to start bringing, well, health to the animal and to the human. I mean, this is another great thing about this system, is it really works, and this is the sort of the fourth foundation, is working with the human, understanding the important role we humans have in the dynamic of wellness for our animals. And with this whole thing of offering the essential oils, which means being present and quiet with your animals and listening, letting them guide you in what they need, which is a really meditative and relaxing process for human and animal. Um, and then the TCM thing of looking at the individual needs and understanding. It's so simple sometimes. Somebody's thinking something wrong with my dog. It really just does not ever want me to touch it. It shies away when I try to pet it. And if people come in, it just hides. You go, oh, that's okay. It's a water element. That's the way it needs. It doesn't want you to come rushing to touch it. But if you wait and just give it space, it will come, it will connect when it trusts. Then they're really cuddly and connective. But if we have this, it's something wrong with my dog because he doesn't want to touch, then we're creating a negative dynamic, really. And by helping people understand, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, it's just a different way. It's a different way of expressing themselves, and each individual has a different way of doing that. So that's the four foundations: the aromatics, the TCM to understand the individual, the reducing stress by understanding what the individual needs and creating an environment that suits it, and then also our role as humans and how we can be a positive asset for our animals rather than contributing to whatever is stressing them.